Hello, Susie Meister Butler.
Ooh, that sounds like vindictive.
Really?
Yeah, like it.
Susie Meister, because I emphasized.
I liked it. Episode 648. Hello.
Yes.
Hello, and welcome to the show.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm doing well. Susie and I were talking about how we've got, a little glass of vino with us. I'm sipping on a buttery shard, as they would say.
Do you ever have a day? I doubt that you do, but I just want to know. Do you ever have a day when you're like, I'm going to get crunk? Like, you think, I'm going to just go for it. I'm going to get a little wasted.
Did kind of have a little bit of that feeling. Not like I wanted to, get crunk. I don't think I say that as much as I want to say, I would love an afternoon buzz right now.
Yeah, right.
And here is when it is.
Uh-huh.
When I am strolling through a small town.
Oh,
in the afternoon.
And you go antiquing or something?
Yes, when I want to browse.
Yeah.
And I want to not care that somebody may want to be somewhere else.
Yeah.
I think it's like that. I have to have just the right amount of booze to be able to be I want to go in there. And the funny thing is the partner I'm with now is yeah, we'll go wherever you want. This is great. But, I think partners of the past were no, I don't want to go so I have this
anticipatory anxiety.
Yes. So I have a glass of wine and then I feel like I can browse through all of the little antique shops and little
thrift stores,
apothecaries.
Yes.
Speaking of which, I went to one the other day because I always love apothecaries in these little towns. They had a tea blend that was called the Brainiac Brew. Don't you know I bought the biggest bag they have of that?
You're kidding
And then
me.
I get up to the counter and it was a different price than it was less. And I was like, wait, this wasn't the price. It said this. It goes 25% off for Labor Day sale. I'm like,
oh
and
my
it's on sale!
God.
Come on.
Have you
Brainiac
tried it?
Brew.
I wonder if it's delicious.
It's going to be delicious. I was going to drink it this morning, but I chose wine instead. Yeah. Not this morning. It's not this morning. I'm kidding.
I get it.
I'm kidding.
Yes,
I'm kidding.
yes.
Kidding.
Let me ask you this though about alcohol. This
is energetic.
This has been on my mind about alcohol.
Oh yeah, booze. Let's booze it up.
I want to know what it is. Why haven't they been able to make some kind of pill or something that does what alcohol does? Because even when you're on antidepressants or whatever you can be on, it's not the same.
Wow, that's an interesting question. So it's just the
if you're on
ethyl alcohol that does it. It's just, and I think that only comes in a liquid form.
But why can't they make it so that? Why can't they make a medicine?
Right,
do
that does
that
apply that? Well, I think a lot of what quote unquote that is are the side effects, the symptoms, or the side effects of the alcohol. So I think you'd have to
whatever it does to the brain. Why can't we make a medicine that does that for people? Because it really is it solves a lot of problems, but then
I think the problems are but it doesn't really. I think it just makes you think that it does.
Well, that's fine. But I'm saying, why can't they make a medicine that makes me think that?
But I almost think that that is inhibition of the prefrontal lobe or something like that.
Make something that does that.
Yeah.
I'm just curious because they've made
Susie's inventing a new antidepressant.
Well, because, even if you take a Xanax, which can be a similar result, it is not the same.
No.
It just chills you out. It doesn't give you that sense of joy.
Does wine give you that sense of joy?
Yes.
Okay. See, this is what I think it is. I think what's giving you that are the other things that come with it. You know how we talk about coffee? We've talked about this in the past, how it's part of it's the routine. It's symbolizing you waking up in the morning. Sometimes people have. Yeah,
but if I were drinking,
their only quiet time.
If I were drinking a non-alcoholic wine, which they do make, it would not do that. And I did that when I was pregnant a couple of times. I'm like, this is stupid.
Oh, it didn't bring,
Yeah. So the routine adds to it, of course.
But the pairing of both.
Yeah. What the hell? I don't know what it does to my brain or other people's brains, our brains. Mm-hmm. But if it came in a pill, everyone would want that shit.
Would I, though? I feel like the ritual of actually drinking a glass of wine is better.
Yeah, well, not if you're an alcoholic, though. And, like,
that's true.
They need it. I'm just thinking of them, like, it's a shame.
I wonder if they do have something like that. There's got to be something that... What is that?
Because the reason why...
This is a good question.
The reason why it's so alluring and people end up getting having a problem is because it so effectively solves certain kinds of mental health issues... temporarily.
Let's push back. Yeah, on solves.
In the mind of the user.
Yes. In the mind of the user,
you
solves
feel,
the problem.
Thank God, relief or whatever it is that you're seeking. Yeah. And then if they have to stop, that's what they miss, is the relief from...
So if you were to... affect those same receptors in the brain that allowed for you to like not think or worry about that without the negative effects of alcohol itself.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be
because like Adam has
enticing.
ADHD, he has dyslexia, he has stuff like that. And alcohol in his mind solves that problem temporarily. Mm-hmm. But that you don't want to become reliant or so he's like, if they could make something, a medicine that would do that for me, that would be so great. Yeah. That's why I'm asking.
Well, and that's kind of how I feel about weed too. It's like that, like before I got diagnosed with ADD was like what slowed me down. It like provided like
it just brought you to a normal level.
Normal.
Yeah.
Right. It was like, oh, now I can actually sit here and watch this movie because I'm chill. Like my mind isn't going 1,000 miles a minute. Yeah. Now I have, something else that helps way better without this. It's almost like you have to have the added side effects of.
Yeah.
That's why I think we're studying the brain more and the effects. We're learning more about these specific receptors and these specific areas of the brain that are linked to these kind of conditions.
Yeah.
Whatever it may be. And with every generation of pharmaceuticals that comes out, there's like, first generation antidepressants and second generation. We are narrowing in close, like more and more on the parts of the brain, the specific parts of the brain that are affected. And when you do that, when you affect a more specific region, you have less symptoms or like
side effects,
like side effects that are undesirable.
Yes.
You have less undesirable.
Well, keep
side
up the
effects.
good work, everybody. Keep working on that for Adam and other people who think, it's a shame they can't find a medicine that provides that.
And it is interesting to like it. You have to kind of tease out. Like when you look at brain scans, like what is
happening?
What is happening, and like control for it is really interesting, and it's why like researching the effects on the brain is so on whatever we're doing is so valuable.
Yeah, well,
but you know what? Well, I want to say one more thing.
Go ahead.
Going. You know how there are pharmaceutical companies that have taken elements of like the cannabinoid, like plant, like THC and things like that. And they've like turned it into a pharmaceutical. And we do that with cocaine. And we do that with different like substances
like they manipulate
that they all kind of have these like pharmaceutical or like these benefits in a way.
Yeah.
It is weird that you don't have that with alcohol.
I know.
So that is an interesting question. And do we is my question. Maybe that I'm just thinking of it in a different way. And maybe we do. And somebody who knows we'll have to do this on things we got wrong.
Well, and because you know how like
pills
alcohol affects people differently. So some people get angry, some people get happy, some people whatever.
Yeah.
So maybe it is a thing where it just totally depends on the person. It's more,
and maybe it's like all regions of the brain are affected, so you can't narrow it in.
It depends on your baseline and your something. Anyway,
interesting.
But I mean, regardless, what everybody should do is find a therapist instead of relying on
Absolutely.
External
They can help you with some of those symptoms a little bit more than the booze can.
Yeah, so then we work internally.
Yes.
Rather than
the real
externally.
Problem. Right. Thank you. Very good.
Which, we all need to do regardless of your station in life or what you feel like you got going on. Everybody struggles. Even under the best circumstances, life is hard. So therapy can help you cope. It can give you tools on dealing with life's shenanigans.
Yes.
And BetterHelp is an option if you're interested in finding a therapist and using an online option. So it's accessible from all of your devices and you don't have to go anywhere. So that might appeal to you. And you can get a therapist. You can get matched after filling out a survey on like what you're looking for and what would be helpful to you. And you can switch anytime if your needs change or if you want a better match. But when you want to be a better problem solver, therapy can get you there. Visit betterhelp.com/braincandy today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/braincandy.
I love talking to somebody about my problems. Other than Susie.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I feel bad because like a lot of the things that I wanted to bring up today are like, I need to ask Sarah about this. So I hate putting you on the spot, but you're such
I love this.
Okay, well, you're a valuable
so much
resource.
So I started an entire podcast spinoff about
Yes,
this.
And don't forget to check it out, you guys. This Changes Everything with Sarah Rice and Jeff Gunther, Therapy Jeff. He's so awesome. What a great dynamic duo you guys are.
Well, thank you, Suze.
Holy heck. But I'm thinking like that's just your thing. Like I always hate when people think they have chemistry with me. I'm like, we don't have chemistry. I'm just charismatic.
No, Jeff is kind of like you. Yeah, it's a good patch. Like everybody's wonderful. That all parts.
Well,
so,
I
am here to answer every and all therapy related question with my limited knowledge, but sort of experience.
I'm sure you didn't watch this yet, and I probably would tell you not to. That Armie Hammer docu-series is absolutely...
No, I want to see it.
All right. Well, you should because it's great, but you shouldn't because like there is a little bit of like the stuff that triggers you.
Yeah.
So just weigh that.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, ready.
But it was, so compelling. It's called House of Hammer. It's on Discovery Plus. It's 3 parts.
Ooh.
We knew most of it in terms of Armie from the news, in the release or the leaked like DMs that he was sending to people and all the weird like cannibal.
Can you give me? Yeah, there was. I was like, can you? Because it almost seems it's one of those stories that's so bizarre.
Yes,
and also I think paired with a name that's so interesting makes me feel in a weird way that this was some surreal dream I had.
Totally.
That I'm like, and I feel like when all this came out was like during a crazy time.
Yes,
this like
was
mid-pandemic
during COVID,
and like this. Okay, so this was already. I was like, how much of this did I dream because it's so fucked up, and how much of this is real? So if we can get a little refresher course on like what actually happened, or quote unquote whatever you have to legally say.
You are right about that because it really is like that. The refresher is that Armie Hammer is a successful actor, but he also comes from. He's an heir to the. His grandfather was named Armand Hammer, and we went to...
We did talk about this. Okay.
And that's Armie's real name is Armand Hammer, spelled just like Armand Hammer.
Armand Hammer.
And his great-grandfather, got rich through a petroleum company called Occidental. But then after that, that's when I think he tried to buy the Armand Hammer company, which was unrelated to him. It's not like he started.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
So that feels super narcissistic, and like there's something like real weird there.
Well, the reason he was named Armand Hammer was after in Russia that symbol of the arm holding the hammer. So his last name was Hammer, and his dad named him Armand to signify the arm and hammer of the Russian communist whatever. So, anywho, Armie Hammer is the heir to this fortune of this family that is now we know from the documentary, made up of like a long line of fucking sociopath cuckoo birds, allegedly.
Oh my God. Right.
And,
God.
Okay, so then he got into hot water because he was a married man with 2 kids, and he had been basically living a double life. Like, he was meeting these women and wooing them, love bombing them, as they say, with like, you're the reason for my being. You're the most incredible human being on the face of the earth. And then once they were sort of hook, line, and sinkered, then he would be like, oh, by the way, I'm going to tie you up and, you know, do terrible things to you. And there's like nothing you can do about it, under the guise of BDSM, which everyone that's in BDSM knows that like consent and safety are like supposed to be very important.
Yep. The most important.
And then a woman reported him for, you know, filed a police report for rape. She said he raped her for 4 hours. And, you know, you can see in the docu-series the text where he'd say like, yeah, you crying and screaming and crawling away, that really turned me on. Like, he...
Oh my God, he's a monster.
He's a monster. And he's obsessed with like cannibalism and wanting to like get your meat and like roast.
Okay.
He's basically like a murderer who hasn't murdered.
Right.
Like Jeffrey Dahmer.
God, in a physical sense, but to do that to a woman, you've pretty much killed all other parts of her.
Yes. And so anyway, those things came out, and then like he did the thing that celebrities do, where they go to rehab and they like pretend like, oh, you know, I'm working on myself and whatever. But anyway, so they go through all the generations and say all the absolute bananas things that this family has done, from like murder to like political bribes and buying people off. The one guy was involved in the Watergate thing and all kinds of craziness.
Oh, God.
And so like my question for you is, and I know I've asked you this before because I talk to so many criminals, like, do you understand like sociopathy and to the degree to which it is genetic and inborn versus like, is it the thing where like you probably have a genetic predisposition and then if like you experience trauma, it can be ignited or triggered?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
like the circuitry, I've always explained it as with the light bulb.
Yeah.
Where you have to have the socket, the electricity, the light bulb in the light socket.
Yeah.
You have to have it wired right, and you have to have something come along and flip the switch. Someone come along and flip the switch.
Right.
That any one of those things missing makes it so that doesn't happen. But
and then once it's no longer latent, once it's true that you are without a conscience, there is no turning back as far as I can tell. There's no way to rehabilitate someone without a conscience.
I don't believe there is.
You can only change the behavior, not the condition.
Because these are personality disorders.
I know, it freaks me out, Sarah.
Personality disorders aren't curable with, they're different than, personality disorders are like situational and environmental more than they are genetic. So there can be like a combo of all those things. And this is just, what do I know? I mean, this is like, we are learning new things about this all the time.
It's still mysterious, basically.
It's very mysterious. Yeah, I think and it goes against our, like, the thing that I think with this, though, is the money thing. Mm-hmm. Because it is so, and this is making big leaps, but in the way that, like, if we take the porn industry and you look at how we have, like, we become, like, desensitized in a way. Like, society becomes desensitized. So things become more extreme, and more extreme, and more extreme.
Right. It's normalized and...
Yeah. I can't say for sure, but there's this feeling that I have that unlimited resources and no restraints, no
yes,
boundaries and consequences encourage for some the pushing of those boundaries to such an extreme that like the ability to control another human becomes
so it's like it reinforces
yes
the thing that's so unsavory.
And for a lot of people, I think for a lot of billionaires, people with that amount of wealth, controlling people was often how they got that wealth. So that becomes something that is not only like modeled generationally, but looked to as the ideal. Like that is how you achieved this status. So it's something to be desired. So controlling another person becomes like
it's been reinforced.
It's been reinforced, and you could turn that into something that would be easily fetishized. And
they even said there was a line in the film that said, "You can't have extreme wealth without a crime." Like,
yeah, this is what I feel, right? And then now you have that being normalized, and like not normalized, reinforced, incentivized, and encouraged,
and lauded. It's seen as like the goal.
The goal.
I would say Oprah is the exception. You know, she's the ethical billionaire, as far as we know.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes.
So, like, okay. So then it mixes with, you know, my weirdness about sex and stuff. So like, and where I get a little sex negative sometimes. Okay. So his kink apparently is basically rape. And
I think it's control.
Ooh, yes. Thank you for...
because that is what it all boils down to. And then when he goes back and reminds them, that is a continuation of that control.
Yes. Okay.
That's even more... Think about how, if that's what you're after, think about how much of... How satisfying that would be is you don't even have to be near them, and the things that you've done before, now you control like their response, their reaction, and you're not even in the same
like the hypnotist who can say a word and make you do something.
Yeah.
He
feels super powerful now, and it's all about power and control.
And when he's going on Colbert, and he was obsessed with this Japanese thing with ropes that people use as bondage.
Oh, yeah.
BDSM.
Shibari.
He was like showing, I don't think he said shibari on there, but he was like showing how good he is with these ropes. Yeah. But he's doing it.
It's really terrible for the kink community.
Yeah, because I kept thinking of you and being like, I'm not okay with this, Sarah. Like, I get that it's different, but there is a problem because I don't know. I didn't think about it enough to like, I don't want to say anything to be mean.
No, I read something that said there's something called the 99-1 rule that says 90% of people in the community are like doing great. It's like following the rules.
Like the legit people.
9% are... Can't remember what that percent is.
And then 9, and
then the 1% is the fucked up one that's
he uses it as a
wrong
way to get
and
in.
Using all the other one. I can't remember. I'm going to Google it right now.
Well, while you do that, I'm going to talk about how freaking cute my earrings are, thanks to Suds.
Oh yeah, talk about that.
I will, because I just ordered more, which I put on Instagram. I cannot wait to get those mood earrings. I mean, sure, I only have one mood.
Earrings?
Yes, like a mood ring, but on your ear.
I love this.
And I was like, sure, it'll always be black like my soul, but I still want to know.
Oh my gosh, how great would that be? Either be like, Sarah, do we need to take a deep breath right now? You're running a little hot.
We should both wear them on taping days and see how our moods differ.
This is great.
It's hilarious. Anyway, I love that. I love all their designs and just the earscape idea of like all your ear holes, like having a theme. Like I got the country western ones, but they have tons. Like I got the evil eye, and
I got that one too.
It's so cute.
It's so cool. It's so pretty.
I love their collections. They're just great, and they're great. I'm getting some for one of my Les's, her daughter, because she loves earrings, and they're so cute for little girls too because they're little tiny studs,
and they are really good. More important than all this, they look cute. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
When you are a sensitive gal like me, you cannot use just any old earring. Like my ears will turn green so fast.
Yeah.
My ears will get sensitive to anything in there that is not good for the skin. Maybe you have noticed my cute hiking pictures where I'm wearing full
right?
earring
She can
sets
actually
and all
wear
of them.
jewelry. It's so exciting.
It's amazing. They look so cute all the time. Stay on. I love them.
Super high
Never take 'em
quality.
off.
They have also piercing, places, shops where you can go, and they don't use the guns. They use single-use needles, so it's like fancy. But it's all very affordable. Right now, Studs is offering our listeners 20% off your first purchase when you go to studs.com/braincandy. Go to studs.com/braincandy for 20% off your first purchase. That's studs.com/braincandy. Okay, so 99.1.
So this was interesting because when I heard this, I either read it somewhere or I heard it in a lecture given by somebody who was like a professor or something, like an expert on like kink. And they used it in a way that referred to like the kink community. But when I Google it, it says it's like almost like a participation rule in like the internet where it says 90% are lurkers, 9% are contributors, and 1% are creators. So it's almost the same kind of rule.
It can be applied in other places.
It can be applied in that same way where 90% are lurkers or people who are just kind of like curious or checking it out. 9% are people who are actually doing this and like, in a good way, in a safe way, at home, like in the community. And 1% are the frickin' anomalies that are like him who are using it for like negative, like evil purposes.
Yeah, because Gloria Allred, she represents one of the accusers, and she said, BDSM is fine.
Right.
BDSM is legal. Rape is not. And there is a difference. And you can revoke consent any time you want.
Yes, you can.
So
anytime you want.
That is important to emphasize. So
at
any rate, it was so disturbing. I felt so bad for the women that he manipulated and abused.
Oh,
Used,
really,
abused,
really
and abandoned. That's what they said. Used, abused, and abandoned. And I do not think that he is sorry, which I guess is when you don't have a conscience, you're not.
Well, that falls into the no empathy.
How is that? I don't understand how people don't have any.
It's a good thing that you don't understand that people don't have any, because when it pushes back on everything that goes against your moral compass, where it feels like I don't understand how you can't have that thing that feels so human to me.
That is the defining thing about being human, in my opinion.
Yes, that really should be a reflection of your level of empathy, and like that's that, and how bad that is what he's doing.
Well, and more importantly, I think even though like the specifics of Armie and his family are so disturbing, the more important thing is about how systems protect these people. Systems of power, systems of money.
Yes, it reminds me of Epstein. It reminds me of
Weinstein.
What's his face with Weinstein. It reminds me of the guy from the Jinx.
Yeah, Robert Durst.
It reminds me of the guy from that Tickle movie that we watched. That creepy guy who was the heir to a big wealthy New York law firm family. This is a thing. I feel like if you were to look at these individuals who are complete, like, sociopaths, like really the dark triad, like
depraved,
all of that.
Yeah.
And you compared and you looked at like the income, like distribution of wealth amongst those people, that billionaires and millionaires would be disproportionately represented in that group, which is like real. I just think, right?
Yeah, they can do so much more damage because people are
other people don't have time to do that kind of fucked up shit.
Well, and
they got to work.
There are a lot of people that suffer financially if these people go down. So, there's a lot of...
oh, my gosh. And people give him
let's keep this
like the R. Kelly, like all this, everything
all
that people just allowed
so
to happen.
Sad.
Because, oh, my God, it's so fucked up.
And so far, there have been no charges filed, which is sort of evidence to what we're saying. Like, they get away with everything. Yeah.
Oh my God. Everything is messed up and backwards.
So anyway, you should watch that.
Oh God.
It was so disturbing. Okay, let me move on. Okay. The other
story.
The other thing people have to watch. You know how I love a sports doc.
Love.
The same series that did Manti-Teo.
Yes.
They have other stories.
Untold.
Yeah, Untold. Yeah. And the third episode was about a referee who was accused of like calling the games so that he was betting on the games.
Yes.
And it was just so interesting. You would love it. Because basically why it's great is that he's not saying he didn't do it. He's saying, here's what the NBA does, where like they'll make a rule, like we're going to really enforce like traveling, let's say.
Yes.
And you make sure when someone travels, you blow that whistle. But then Michael Jordan will travel, they'll blow the whistle, and they'll go back in the locker room and they'll be like, what the fuck? You don't call it on Michael Jordan. He's why people are here. He's our moneymaker.
Right.
Use that on the people nobody cares about. And so he's saying the NBA is fixing the games too.
Yes. That reffing is almost part of the game itself. It's another like it's like
strategy.
A character.
Yes.
Like a third team that's playing this game.
And like if they have playoffs and it's a seven game series, they want it to go to 7 games.
I've always said this. I said this, and I swear to God, my ex-husband said, they don't do that. That I was like, oh,
Let's
really?
do a podcast called Things Landon Got Wrong.
Every time? Because it's always Aspen Food and Wine, always lined up with the NBA playoffs. And I would always have to sit there and watch it when I was like really hungover after, like, and so I had very little patience. And I'd be like, why are we still doing this? We know that this is fake. We know that this is obviously, watch, I guarantee. I'd be like, this is going to go into game.
Like, I think if they can do it, they will.
Good. I love being right.
Sometimes it probably is impossible, but there are little things you can do to maybe cut some points or whatever. So that one was great.
Things that they do that they're not even aware that they're doing because it happens subconsciously.
Exactly.
They all want, because they're getting those messages, advertisers. If everybody's going wink, 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 then they are primed to see or not see what they want to see. Fact. Come on. This is great. I can't wait to watch this.
Okay, then, but the second episode is what I wanted to talk about because it was about this, like basically an apparel company called And One that got really big. You know And One?
Yeah, I do.
Wow,
basketball line.
Yeah. And they, developed this merch and apparel and shoes. And the way that they were marketing it was like they were working with street ball, like the real people in the streets that play basketball and learn all those like cool tricks. And they play different than they do like in real games. It's like all these like, it's performative,
Yes.
Okay. So they put together this team of the best street ball players and they went on tour.
I remember this. Wasn't there a video series like they came out with too?
Sarah,
I remember
how do you know everything?
Because I really wanted, I was really into hip hop culture. Hello.
Yeah.
This was like a next door neighbor of that. And so like, I think.
Yes.
Like,
it was embracing of hip hop culture,
street culture,
urban culture, Black communities, and people that normally don't get any credit, basically.
Yeah.
And so anyway, they went on tour and they played all these cool games and they did all their cool tricks and everyone gets excited and it's so great. But like, here's why I want to talk about it with you. These guys they were excited. They were on the road and they could stay in like really fancy hotels and stuff and they were having the time of their life and they were getting paid for it. But it is exactly like the challenge where you make $3 and you're psyched.
Right.
Because you're just happy to be there.
Right.
And then the guys at the top are
making so much.
Totally getting rich off of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're vulnerable. What are you going to do? Go back to the Harlem and go back to wherever you were working or hustling or whatever you were doing?
Yes.
Like you have no choice. You have to just put up with things that aren't fair. And like then they started like fighting with each other. Because you can't.
Oh, because this is the same thing, the ants in the jar thing.
Hello.
This is totally that.
It's the challenge.
Oh, yeah.
We should be mad at the powers that be, but instead we punch each other out at 3 a.m. after a bottle of Jack Daniels, Brad.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Just for an example.
I just like. I loved the episode, but I really got into it at the end when I started connecting those dots and being like, this is exactly what happens to people that go on reality TV.
And this is what we say about the people who tend to be able to go on there.
Exactly.
Is one, you either have the funds, you have the financial support, stability, whatever.
Yes.
To maintain your lifestyle once you leave. Mm-hmm. That like somebody pays your rent, your family like, pays for whatevs. Like you're supported. You have a big
safety
cushion,
net. Yeah.
Big safety net.
Yeah.
Or
you have nothing to lose.
You have no safety net. You have nothing to lose and go on this because this is going to be better than, having to pay rent. Like just hypothetically, split rent in a 1-bedroom apartment between you, your current girlfriend, her ex-girlfriend, and her current girlfriend, and their dog. Just hypothetically.
Right. Something
Maybe,
like that.
Something like that.
Yeah. Or you're slinging freaking Pecos peach drinks at Lone Star Steakhouse and Saloon.
And singing birthday songs with some little ditty. Yeah, just hypothetically. Maybe.
So, it was very fun to watch, but it felt like even now after like And One collapsed, it's like it was about the rise and fall of And One. But
I feel like this is what MMA is.
Yeah, I never thought about that.
And the worst thing they did is those fucking jerks at whoever they are, I feel like, isn't this the same guy from the fucking Joe Rogan? Isn't this Joe Rogan shit too?
He did that. Yeah.
They don't allow him to advertise. UFC. Yeah. That they don't allow, they took away their ability to advertise on their own, like,
the participants.
Yes. That they can't put logos on their shorts. They can't advertise. God. They can't make any money. So the only people making money are the people who are.
Well, that's what they do to us. We can't wear logos on the show. Yeah.
Right? Isn't we can't even wear our own logo. We can't even make our own.
Like we couldn't wear a brain candy on there. They would steal it from our bag. Yes. Right. It is insane. And even though.
Dude.
Like the company fell. I mean, they sold it. Those guys are doing fine. The owners, the creators.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And they're doing just fine.
And these players, like they show what they do now, and it's just like, they're back in the grind, and it's humiliating, is what it feels like. So and people come up to them on the street, just like us. Right. Hey, remember when you
talk about the glory days? Yeah.
Anyway,
it's embarrassing. And it's not fair. It's not fair because they're who built that. and they were totally taken advantage of. And
it would also be super embarrassing if you did not have a backbone gaming system.
Super.
I mean, that would just be humiliating. So let me solve that problem for you guys. Have you heard about these? They basically allow you to turn your phone into a gaming system.
Yeah.
Clip it on.
Right there. You can play everything that you want.
Everything you want. Console quality controls as you play. But you can just take it wherever you're going. Lincoln and Adam love mine. I'm not a gamer, so I just am enjoying their joy. But if you know anyone that enjoys video games, this is such a great gift. It is such a great thing if you enjoy video games. Like it connects to, what is it? Remote play, like the Apple App Store, all the game.
I mean, my favorite game in the whole entire world, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2.
Oh my God. I didn't even know that was your favorites.
Oh.
I didn't know.
The best game. I've beaten it and reset the game and then tried beating it. Come on. Best game ever. Compatible.
You go in the App Store, get what you want, and you are all set with your Backbone. Go to playbackbone.com/braincandy now to order your Backbone for a limited time and get free access to over 350 console games and perks. Backbone is now the official partner of Diablo Immortal. Not only is the game specifically optimized for Backbone, but you will also receive $10 off in in-game perks. Find your adventure at playbackbone.com/braincandy. What fun. Okay. So, yeah, that one I hope you watch just so you can be like, yeah, Susie was right. That is.
Yeah, I really want to. I'm like itching for some documentary stuff.
Okay.
This is good.
This is good. Okay. What do I want to share with you?
This is how I felt last week. I'm like, oh, what? So many weird things.
Okay, here's the next thing. This was in The Atlantic, and the title grabbed me because it was like spooky.
Ooh.
It was something about how like you've probably already seen yourself in your own memories. And I was like,
what?
I don't even know what that means, but I am in.
You've probably already seen yourself in your own memory.
Yes. So it is exploring the concept. I do not understand it, but maybe you will. Do you have any memories, whether it's from childhood or even today, where it's not the first person? You see yourself, third person, in the memory. I couldn't think of any where I was looking at myself. Mm-hmm. But they said most people have at least some memories that are like that.
I do, but I can point to pictures being the thing that helped me.
So you think maybe it's just...
you know what? I do. I have one that stands out. Actually, you know what? Now that I say it, all of them are like this. Every memory that I have, not all of my memories, but every memory of this specific thing. My performances as a child.
Sarah!
Stop it!
This is going to be crazy!
No, because I remember the talent show. I remember when I told the teacher that I wanted to do my own little song and dance to that song from Beverly Hills 90210 soundtrack. Those I remember. My memories are of me watching myself.
That's
Tell me.
Crazy.
What?
Well, specifically, it was saying you're way more likely to have this phenomenon happen when you're performing in front of a crowd.
Stop it!
Yes!
Stop it right freaking now. No.
Yes, because
Susie,
your brain...
those are the only ones. Thank God I remembered that.
I can't believe it. I wish I could say the same, but I just was like, I don't think I have any. But you hit the nail on the head. They say that because you're performing in front of a crowd, your brain starts to imagine, what are they thinking of me? Are they judging me? Do they like what they're seeing? Do they think I'm great? Whatever, like the feedback. And you're worried, and maybe embarrassed.
Oh,
isn't that crazy?
This is all.
See?
Susie.
I know. I didn't write it, though. I can't take credit here.
Well, I know, but this is just so crazy that, that is actually when the only memories that I have. I am trying to... No,
you really
this is
delivered
super cool.
for me here today. I couldn't have asked for more. This is why I talk about you
But
all the time. I'm like, she can talk about anything.
I get why that
Yeah, it makes sense.
would
that part.
happen.
Yeah.
Because you are so concerned of what others think.
Yeah. Do I look like a doofus?
And it's interesting that, like, with the photos, most of the time people are taking photos of you are when you're little. In our generation,
yes,
is when you were performing, so that kind of matches that.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Okay, so then...
Remember my embarrassing moment when my head got caught on the headscarf when I did the performance of The Giving Tree against Amanda Bynes? All I remember is what the crowd sees, that the crowd saw me get my head stuck on that scarf and do a ridiculous jerking motion. And that's what made me lose to Amanda Bynes in the 5th grade oratory.
She's not being, like, metaphorical. It was literally Amanda Bynes.
I'm being literal that it was Amanda Bynes.
Like, you know how, like, you'll call, like, if they looked like Amanda Bynes? No?
Yeah, you're like, oh, yeah, and I was singing against Whitney Houston over here. No. I was really performing against Amanda Bynes.
Right. God, it's so funny. Okay, so they were saying that this happens more often when you're embarrassed or when you're looking through an audience's eyes in a moment. Okay, it's more likely for older memories and traumatic memories also. I don't know if that applies for you.
Like what? Getting your head stuck in a scarf performing for a minute? Yeah, that was traumatic.
But you've had worse real trauma than that.
Yeah.
And so I would...
That's disassociating.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Getting out of your body.
Yeah, because they say that when our brain accesses memories that are in the first person, where we're seeing through our own eyeballs, it's more visceral. Like and so our body our brain does that thing where it makes it a third person thing, so you can handle recalling it more.
And the other thing now I'm thinking of, my memory when I had a big bicycle accident when I was a little kid. I remember I can see myself watching myself have not in it. I can see myself.
Was that when you committed to not using the brakes that time?
Yeah. And no feet on the pedals.
Yeah.
Big mistake.
So stupid.
Probably had a women's seat though. That little bike was called the Bahama Mama. So that was probably the closest. That was probably the most comfortable my vagina ever was.
You didn't know how lucky
even though I ended up in the hospital.
Okay, so they said one study that they did to, like, think about it was they asked a bunch of people, do you like STEM, like science, technology, engineering, math? And then you answer. And then they had people do an exercise in those fields that was either boring or really engaging and exciting. Then they were asked afterwards to imagine or to describe it from either the first person or the third person. Like, think of it like one or the other. The people who were doing it in the first person said whether they liked it, like, based on the activity. So if they got a boring thing, they would say, that was boring. I didn't like it. But the people that were doing it from the third person would answer according to their initial answer to the question. So if they had earlier said, oh, yeah, I love STEM, whether or not their thing was boring, they would say, oh, yep, I love STEM.
Oh.
So they're less in tune to the moment, and they're more in tune with what they said earlier. Like, no, I like it, or I don't like it. Which is so weird to me.
Interesting. Was it when they were asked, or was it that they naturally spoke in either the first person or the third person?
They were told.
Were they prompted they were told to refer to this?
Yeah.
Okay. So I will, in therapy, when I'm working with somebody doing like kind of parts work, and I'll talk about a wise mind. You know, we have a judgmental voice and we have a wise mind. And we have the interesting thing that I have seen anecdotally and asked my supervisors about, and they've confirmed for me that, yep, this is totally a thing. When we are speaking from that intuitive, wise mind place, it is always third person. You can do it. You're going to be fine. It's going to be okay. You've been through worse. You can do it. You're like strong here. Mm-hmm. Just keep going. when we are being critical of ourselves and when we are speaking from the lower self, it's
like,
I am such an idiot.
Yeah.
I'm a loser. That to me says that there's something intuitive that knows like a greater purpose.
Right.
That goes, I understand that this is a boring task.
But I
love science.
Yes.
I love engineering. So I can put up with this. And that's a wise mind, big picture, like you see the perspective.
Yes.
Place versus a judgmental, I hated doing that for this many.
I was bored. So
you are
I don't
giving
like
a microphone to the lower self and the higher self, I think, in each of those situations.
I think you're right.
I love this.
It's
I tell my clients this science is going to come out in like 5 to 10 years. I don't know what it is, but trust me, this is a thing, and use that as a guide to know whether that voice is something to listen to or not listen to.
When it sounds like, given that they're doing stuff like this, they're really already on the way to the idea of perspective, what you're describing.
Yes.
And it's empowering because, you're not forced to see it one way or the other. You can kind of choose.
Yes.
Like take yourself out of it if you want.
And you can, you see the benefit to something that may feel meaningless.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like doing, I don't know, this, like drawing circles over and over, but I love art and I love so I can represent, or I can understand or appreciate that this is a smaller element of this bigger thing that I like. I have perspective to see that.
Yeah.
How cool.
It is cool because
it feels very spiritual in a way, like very like your soul understanding versus your physical body
calling the shots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who gets bored real fast?
So I feel like it can be freaky to know the weird ways that the brain is sort of like, what? Why are you doing it that way? But if you feel like you're in the driver's seat, then it's more empowering. Yeah. Like, I'm going to get some perspective on this. I'm going to think about this from this.
I'm going to think about this from a third person perspective.
Yeah.
Yes. And there's clarity, there's reflection, there's insight in that from that vantage point.
I meant to introduce, what should I do? What are your thoughts?
I either hit me.
Well, I was going to put an interview at the end of this episode, but everyone likes to know ahead of time. Remember, they said I need to give them a heads up.
Yes.
So, do you think I should save it?
Well, now I want to know what the interview is.
Well, it's like transformative. So maybe I should save it.
The interview.
I should save it.
Oh, you got to save that. Okay. We got to build that up, Suze. We got to talk about.
Yeah, you're right.
More things around that. That's a whole. Come on. I alone can talk for at least 45 minutes on this subject.
Okay, well then,
how awesome it is for you to get the opportunity to talk to somebody who you feel this way about.
Okay, that's what I'll do then. But maybe I'll use this opportunity to give an introduction to the introduction, which will come later.
This is an amuse-bouche to the appetizer to the main course.
Yes, where James Burrows, who is the director of Friends and Will and Grace and Taxi and Cheers and about a million other shows that you love.
Everything you love.
But he was also the creator of Cheers. And I'm not being hyperbolic when I say that I in some ways feel like he saved my life. You know what I mean?
Got you through really difficult times.
Yeah, and
everybody has Susie. Yes. I know people can relate to this.
Yes.
Because for me it's Toy Story. I would break down everybody has that one thing that it's not even about the thing.
Yeah.
It's about how that supported you during a time that nothing else provided you the same comfort. And entertainment can be that. It makes me want to tear up.
Yeah.
I can tell it brings you emotion.
So much.
That is such a beautiful healing thing. That is exactly what the arts and entertainment was designed for.
Yeah, and I think people like to poo-poo pop culture because, you know, there's a lot of frivolity and silliness, but it's also what we consume more than anything. And so it can be a really powerful, he calls it like your pacifier. Like he says people always hate.
100% Toy Story is my pacifier. I will never give it up till the day I die. The end. I get it. And Cheers is yours. That's how it is.
Yes. And like he says that people always hate the finale of a series. No matter how good it is, they always are mad about it because you're taking away their pacifier. And so there's nothing they could do really to make it okay.
What they should do is they should do like what, you know, parents do, they like swap it out and like switch it out for like another thing. Like they need to do the finale, but then right after the finale, they do the first episode again.
Yeah, or that's what a spinoff is, like Frasier. Frasier was a spinoff of Cheers.
Yes.
Okay, but we got this.
I love Frasier. But we got it. Don't worry. Everything's okay.
And he directed Frasier. And
so good.
I mean, they had a special for him on NBC a few years ago where it was just a tribute to James Burrows. And it was like, here's the cast of Taxi, here's the cast of Friends, here's the cast of Cheers. All these shows, Will and Grace. And it's like, this one guy did this. So I wanted to get inside his brain, and he had a book that was out, and I thought, this is my only chance. I've been trying to get this interview for 7 years.
Whoa!
But when he had a book come out, I thought, you go to the publisher. Because the publisher wants to sell books real bad.
And we got a book club. And
come on. We love book. So anyway, that's how we got it. But anyway, I will include that in a future episode. So consider yourself warned. And let's wind it down.
I'm so excited.
Thank you for allowing me to start the process of introducing.
I'm here.
Because I said to Adam, the day you thought I had done it, you said, how'd your interview go? And I was like, she doesn't get it. Because if Sarah had interviewed Beyonce, I would not just be like, how'd your interview go? I'd be like, are you okay? Because James Burrows isn't as important to everyone else. So it's hard for them to believe that I would feel the same about you and Beyonce or something.
Right.
But I do.
I see.
She's learned. Anyway,
I've learned.
How about how Armie Hammer's a cannibal? Oh, wait. Let me tell you one funny thing.
Okay.
Gretchen was telling her husband about the Armie Hammer documentary, and she was telling him all about it, the cannibal, all of it.
Yeah.
And her husband, after listening for a really long time, her husband goes, I can't believe all that happened to MC Hammer.
No! Stop! He and I should never, ever play on the same team in a Pictionary game or anything like that, or categories or anything like that. Because between MC Hammer and Ted Bundy, Al Bundy, we would fail.
Funny when that happens, because she was like, "Yeah, MC Hammer's a cannibal."
MC
Matt.
Hammer is doing it. Him and his parachute pants are just eating up ladies all over the place. Just.
That's so funny. Okay. Anyway,
what time is dinner? Hammer time.
It's so stupid. Okay, so anyway, BDSM, they're not all cannibals. Then what else? Oh, the referee documentary is great on Untold.
Oh, yeah. And one. Susie's a big fan of sports docs.
But hates sports.
Do you ever watch, but for real, do you ever watch, no, it's not, it's Hard Knocks?
No.
You should watch it.
Why?
I think you like it.
Is this scripted, though?
I love it. No, It's reality, and it's the pre-season. And here's what you start with. You start with, oh my God, what is it? Who was it? Oh my gosh. I think it was maybe the Raiders. The Raiders is a good one, or maybe the year before that. But it is the pre-season for one NFL team. Now I think they picked two, but And they have to make a significant amount of cuts. So these are all the kids like before they get cut. Then you like see all the behind the scenes. Susie, it is my favorite thing about football season. And every guy I date thinks that I love football because I fucking love. They're like, you love Hard Knocks? I'm like, never missed an episode. In fact, I watch every season twice. This is not about football. This is about the human experience.
Exactly right,
and
Sarah.
It is so beautiful.
That's
and
right.
What's really fascinating are the wives of the coaches. There's the one I really want you to see is I can't remember what coach it is, but he has a special needs child, and the way that him and his wife work together is great. Like he's a wonderful man, and you just see that brought to the
this
football
sounds
team
like
and
I'd be into it.
You would be very
this does
into
not
it.
Sound
It's
like
HBO
at all.
Not at all. No, no.
Oh, it's
we
HBO.
Will, yes, we will meet in the middle. It's HBO.
Okay,
and
I'm going to dive in
and start like a few seasons back because who cares about the football season? That's not the important part. It's about the human stories.
Okay, I'm
going to find which one it is, and I'm going to send it to you and tell you which one to start with because you'll love it.
And then Amanda Bynes, beat Sarah.
Your memories from.
Yes.
Think about that.
Yeah,
everybody now, I would love to hear from you guys what those first memories are.
Ones.
And if you have like the photos to match too, because a lot of them do. Like,
yeah, right.
That's fun. And I love when our listeners tag us in their photos and in stuff.
And you even wonder, like, do I remember this or do I just have the picture or stories of that or not?
Right.
It's interesting.
Right. It really is.
Okay, we gotta go.
Good episode, Susie.
Good, you too, Sarah. Good job, everybody.
A+.
See you next time.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.